curator of the Battleship, New Jersey. I worked very closely with Andy Wager on many of his projects. I knew whenever Andy came to me, he said, "Jason, I got an idea." I knew it would be amazing. And I knew it would be a benefit for all those that came to visit the museum. So we are on a little bit of a time constraint, but we are going to offer those of you who would like to say a few moments, a few memories about him. Before that, I would like to start off. This is a ceremony for Andy, so we're going to start off with a prayer. Reverend Robert Ralph, if you could take it, sir.
It is an honor to do this. Andy got me involved in a lot of things because you can never say no to him, because you can never say you were doing more than he could do. So you've got to add you there. But again, I'm glad we're all here to honor a very special man. Let's pray. Dear Lord, we come to you this evening. We thank you for the opportunity to come to think about Andy, to talk about him, and to just celebrate his life. He's so much a very part of this program, encampment program, this Battleship. And he did so much. He was about giving, always giving, putting others ahead of himself. And that's truly the essence of what Christianity is all about. And let me exemplify that, and left an example to all of us what it means to serve and the value of serving. Now bless this time that we share together as we recognize Andy and the great man he was. As we pray this prayer in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen. Amen.
It's now my distinct honor to welcome the Vice Chairman of the Board of Trustees for the Homeport Alliance of the Battleship, New Jersey. I will tell you that this individual did serve here on the New Jersey. He hates when I say this, so he was wearing green at the time. Later it did go to blue. And that is Captain Walter, sir.
Thank you, and welcome family members and friends of Andy Wager. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, it's my distinct honor and pleasure to be part of the ceremony to recognize Andy and to memorialize his invaluable service on board the ship. There are two words that I can use to describe Andy. It's selfless service. He was so much part of this ship. We just loved to be here. We enjoyed having him. Of course, all his contributions to the ship will live on forever. The Marine Corps Museum was Andy's handiwork. Some of the work that took place in the ship's sick bay, the hospital. He was a hospital corpsman, as we all know. That was Andy's handiwork as well. And as part of the encampment program, he was always here on the weekends to help out and do whatever he could to make the experience as enjoyable for those people who came on board as possible. So for that, we honor him. We're very, very proud to honor him in a very special way as we become very close to unveiling his plaque, which I'll let Jason take over for the rest of the ceremony. I'm just honored and truly privileged to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Well, we all know, most of us know Andy's legacy, what he's done in life, and probably have a pretty good idea of what he's done on the ship. There's not a single guest that comes to this ship that doesn't see something Andy didn't do. So what that means is every guest that comes here sees something Andy played a role in. Be it the restoration of the chapel right here, be it the restoration of the medical spaces, the restoration of the dental spaces, the creation of the Marine Detachment exhibit, and so on and so forth. And then, of course, the reason why we picked tonight, part of an overnight encampment program. Andy was an indelible fixture of the overnight encampment program. If I didn't see him, I'd be like, where's Andy? This isn't encampment without Andy. Where's Andy? And many of our guests remember him because, of course, he would take people up for our safety briefing. And as the captain knows, you heard Andy across the fantail, no talking! But what he was trying to do, and something that he was great at, was he gave them a little taste of what the Navy life was like. And Andy had this talent to have young kids like you see here get a better appreciation and respect for the men and women that have worn this uniform. Andy had an amazing talent to do that. It was amazing to watch and to see him do. Before we unveil the panel, I would like to welcome anyone who'd like to come up and share some stories about Andy. Please do keep them brief, because we do have, of course, encampment, but I do want everyone to have a moment to share a few stories of Andy. And one story I will kick off with about Andy was, I remember he wanted to do the Marine Detachment. And I said, well, you know, we don't have any money in the budget for that. I have to go out and get the artifacts. I have to go, you know, I'm going to have to get everyone together. And he said, I've got it covered, I've got it covered. And literally, he formed a committee, he raised the money, he got the artifacts, And then we did the exhibit, and I'll never forget at the opening, Andy was like, "Jason did such a good job." This, I'm like, I didn't know anything. But it was a pleasure to have Andy. I mean, Andy was one of those people where, as Captain Urban and the Reverend said, you couldn't say no to him because you knew that whatever he was involved in was going to be such a success. So on that, I do invite everyone to come up and share a few stories about anyone.
Every time I meet, I'm Andy Wager's daughter, Mary. It's nice to have everyone here tonight. And every time I meet with someone, whether I've met with them before or not, I hear another amazing story about Dad and the things that he was involved in. And I was handed this, I know you can't see this picture right now, but I was handed this tonight by someone I worked with at Cooper Trauma for many, many years. We got to know each other well, and then I surprisingly saw him here on the ship for my parents' 50th wedding anniversary and realized he was very close with my dad as well, so it's a small world. But I'm going to read the letter that states what this picture is all about. To the family of Andy Wager, on Friday, 14 December 2007, my wife and I had the honor of being the first couple to ever be married in the chapel on the Battleship, New Jersey. The service was beautiful in this tiny 22-seat chapel, and we had the place packed. I'm sorry, I need to start using my feet. And it would not have been possible without Andy Wager. My wife and I wanted to share this picture with you. Pictured first row, and I'm not going to go through all the names because you can't see the picture, but it's the EMT that works on the ship. I will tell you his name and his wife's name. That's Deborah Claire.
No, that's not my wife.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was her niece.
Where are you? You're right here. This is it, right here. Thank you. That works. Oh, wow.
Now they find her glasses, sure.
Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry. It was Deborah Claire.
That's my niece.
That's your niece. Rebecca
Sandra
Elizabeth
Hook.
Siegel, daughter. Jacob.
You want to stand up? Oh,
No.
Oh, you are.
And second row, I'm sorry, I actually know this, but Captain. Help me with the military. I should. Any of
Commander Reverend Robert W. Ralph.
Okay, Pastor Ralph is here. Sandra Marie Hook Siegel and Mitchell Robert Siegel. They are the couple that got married, and that is Chip right back there, and now I'm blind. So thank you very much for the glasses. I do appreciate it. I can't see anybody now, but I did read this. So that was a beautiful story, and thank you for sharing that tonight. And we'll pass the picture around to the family later on this evening. But thank you, and this was his second home, and everyone here and all of you that knew him knew that he absolutely loved his time being here, and I'm very grateful that he had this time here and had the last Marine Ball that he put on the ship, which was his big, big wish to have done. So I was proud to see him in that moment. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Once Andy got involved in the Battleship, every so often he would come to a board of directors meeting and say, I have an idea. And as was said, once he had an idea, you knew you were involved. We helped with the chapel, with the bed, the hospital suite, the dental suite, and I forget what else. But it was just something that you couldn't say no to because of his enthusiasm.
I'm Jim Ward, and I was a late to join member of the Marine detachment that Andy was, I say, so much a part of. He was the heart of it. And when we found out that Andy passed, a lot of us looked at each other and said, well, geez, what's the Marine unit going to do without Andy? My gosh, what a big shoes to fill. And then I went to the funeral service and I was, what are all these Boy Scouts doing here? My gosh, there's so many boys. I thought it would just be Marines. But then I found out that he was the man in so many organizations, and everyone, or so many people, were saying, what are we going to do without Andy? Because they were big shoes to fill in so many different organizations, whether it be the USS New Jersey or the Marines or the Kiwanis or his church or the Boy Scouts, and I know I left some out. But they're big shoes to fill, but they were in a lot of places.
Do we have anyone from the encampment program that would like to say something?
Yes, I'd like to say something. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jim Taylor from the encampment program. I think it wasn't out of time. But one of the most important things I remember about Andy was his devotion to religion. 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, that's all it counted. He could almost recite verse. And he lived the Bible. He lived the Bible. He lived by the Bible. And he always tried to instill upon us what that meant to him. And it really meant a lot to us because that was the most important thing in his life as well as his family. So I just want to take a moment out to say how that affected me. And I remember one time he had here in the encampment program on the Battleship, we had the, I forget what it is, not the encampment, but not the Jubilee, come on, help me out. I can't depend on you for anything. I knew that would happen. Be nice to one thing that he had done for me, and I haven't, I'm a Catholic, I'm proud to say that, I had communion here on board the ship. After I had my confession, that meant a lot to me. It kind of brought me back. And I really appreciate him doing that for me. And I have not forgotten that. So on that note, what's for dinner tonight?
He lived the words God and country. Did you just say them? Did he absolutely live them?
My name's John Alberta. I just want to say I shared a lot of masses on this ship with Andy. And like I said, when Andy wanted you to do something, it was, hey, can you help me out? Or next thing you know, you're doing the readings, you're doing the collections, you're doing everything, stuff that you never did before. Father knows very well we put a lot of masses on the ship together. We're going to miss him very, very much. Thank you.
Before we have the next person, I did want to follow that up because Andy and I would go on a lot of trips together and we would talk about religion, of course. And I did tell him, I said, well, Andy, I'm not Catholic, I'm Protestant. And he kind of, you remember, he would go like, and he looked at me and he says, well, Jason, nobody's perfect. But he did get us the Reverend to come in, and I will say one of the highlights of my life was actually being in the service in the chapel with the Reverend actually giving Mass. So that was incredible. That is one of the, I forgot about that memory when he just sort of said, well, nobody's perfect. So,
one of the most enjoyable experiences I enjoyed about Andy was after everybody got into their tents and went to sleep for the night in the camping trips. Was when I and Andy would sit in the tent. We would just talk, shoot the breeze over Andy's coffee. It was strong stuff, but we had really neat conversations. And one time, he was telling me about his experience in the Navy, and he was transferred to the Marine Corps, and he got this message from the Admiral, and there was something he wanted to go into. I think he wanted to become a doctor.
Yeah, I did.
One time.
Something like that. And the Admiral wanted him for a special assignment. And he went to see the Admiral, and he said, I really can't afford to send you off to medical school, but I got a special assignment that's going to get you close to being a doctor. And that's going to be a mortician. And he kind of looked at him and said, well, Admiral, in all due respect, I wasn't really counting for that particular vocation, but
what's involved in it? And he said, well, the main thing that's going to be involved in it is